I've had another listen to a video that I made regarding Sophie, my sister, and her child. Okay, I think I left out a few details, such as, the reason why I didn't see the child for the first 3 months is because I was in lockdown and, it was illegal. I'm in Birmingham, the child was in London, and it was kind of, you weren't really allowed to travel. And I knew I wasn't really welcome there, like I didn't really feel welcome. And I kind of just wanted to let things settle. I know Sophie was saying that she was getting really confused with us being around and she'd prefer us not to be around. So I was kind of going with what they wanted. I was giving them a month break, and lockdown didn't end. So, there was a reason why I didn't see Sophie's child. But, I feel like there is a massive deception going on. A lot of people think that God, if I was Eve, maybe I did just run off and did absolutely shit all. And therefore, I don't deserve to have this planet as being mine because they would see George as being the George character. Okay, I don't. I feel like whatever's happening to me is so big and so spiritual that George's behavior might actually be designed, done specially to make to influence these videos, so that I would be thinking that I'm talking about him, but really I'm actually talking about the world and what's happened. The world has chosen God the Father, but not a nice God the Father, not God the Father, which is like world leaders just trying to do what's best for the planet, even if it evolves not so, even if it's not good for the individual. But yeah, they will do what's best for the planet. They want to live here. They want to be reincarnated here. They want the planet to survive as long as possible because then they get as many lives as possible. And, the Holy Spirit can sieve out the dumb ones by making sure that they stay as animals for as long as possible. The Holy Spirit will do whatever's necessary and best for both the individual, because some people actually would be happier not having to go to work and not having to stress out over bills and stuff like that. There were some people, I've heard some people today not today, it was yesterday, but I had all the visions today. But yeah, they were telling me how they would absolutely love to just be a cat and just lie in front of the fireplace all day. And on some people you think, well, you say that, but I don't think you mean it, because I'm sure you actually love being a human. I'm sure you love watching TV and using your brain to analyze things. And there's some people, though, they say it and they're serious. That they would actually rather be a cat and just have no complications, a very simple life, basic life, whatever. And so yeah, there's a difference between people who say they'd want to be an animal and people who would, I kind of would say that I'd love to be a dolphin, but I don't actually mean it. I don't want to be a dolphin. I just think that dolphins are the most intelligent animal, hence why I would say that. They also have, good communicate. I don't know, they're cute animals. I don't know, but I would say, and the freedom of just going around the water and but anyway, I don't actually want to be a dolphin. Just me saying that I'm similar to a hamster. I am similar to Roborowskis because they're solitary animals, and I'm independent and I don't really listen to what other people tell me. So I can relate to a Syrian a Roborowski. That doesn't mean I actually want to be a Roborowski, but there's a difference. But some people generally do. But anyway, the point that I'm making is that I was watching that video and I felt like in life this is what's going to happen, or what has happened. My sister had a child, and okay, she didn't do the right thing because she kind of ran off to Brighton, which doesn't make any sense, and I never supported that, and I tried to get her to come back, but she was stressing out too much, and I don't even want to talk because I feel like me talking is actually making it happen, and I don't believe that it was me that did this. I think it was just of her choice doing what she wanted. But then again, me saying that is really complicated because maybe me saying it is actually making it happen. But anyway, um, I'm not going to try and think too much about that. I'm trying to focus on just the point that I'm getting at is that I am not my sister. Me and my sister are very, very different people. I would not act in the same way. I would not do the same things. I would never have a child and then say, oh, I'm going to live off in Brighton for 3 months. And I would never have a sister who tells me she's Christ and me just be like, oh, no, I don't want to know, don't want to know. I would never, ever do that. I would be like, why do you think you're Christ? Give me the evidence. I want to challenge it. I want to look it up. I want to do stuff. And she never did any of this stuff. And she doesn't act in the same way. She's not the same as me. But people who don't know me will think that I'm like her. People will think that, oh, your sister does it. A lot of people think, oh, if you've got mental illness in your family, then you're going to be mentally ill. The EastEnders, that's what happened. The mother was saying how this grandchild is probably going to have mental illness because she does. I generally 100% believe that mental illness is actually more of a mental state, a mental condition, not, okay, different with people with like moving motor functions, that's different. Motor functions when you're, kind of like that, that's different. I don't know what that is. That's physical. I have no idea what that is. But when it comes to mental, mental problems, not being able to work things out, or autism, where you struggle to communicate and you struggle to talk to people, I do think that it's partly personal choice of how someone chooses to be, because they are not that experienced at talking to people or at communicating with people. I mean, everyone thinks that you just get one life, and that's the problem. But if you knew that actually some people have had 30 lives and some people have had one life, then you'll understand why autism exists, because the people that are having autism are probably the people that just haven't had that many lives, hence aren't as good as expressing themselves. Like, I'm very good at expressing myself. I can just talk and talk and talk very, very fast. I can do it very quickly. Why? Because I've had practice and practice and practice. I don't know how many lives I've had. Don't want to know how many lives I have, because that would just make me feel really old. So on this planet, I know I've had 4, and therefore I'm young. Yay, I'm only 4. But yeah, and I know that the more practice you have, the better you get. And people don't know about reincarnation. They don't know about stuff like that. And so I think they would rather think that a mental condition is due to someone having something wired not quite correctly or something, when really I think it's just an inexperience. My uncle's got bipolar. He's done some stupid things, but it's hard to know if he's doing it because he's ill, or is he not very bright. It's hard to tell the difference, because sometimes he does things like spend a huge amount of money on just something that's basic, and it's just like, you're not the kind of the doll, you're living off the government. Why are you spending huge amounts of money on this, when so sometimes it's just not logical. And I don't think it's a mental condition. It's like it's hard to tell the difference between what could be seen as a mental condition and what could just be seen as bad choices that a person makes. And so, but yeah, anyway, me and my sister are not the same, but I know that a lot of people might see the story that happens to Sophie about how she, abandoned, how she walked away from her child and said, oh, the father can look after him. I'll see him in a few months. The father, though, didn't do that. I think she did go and see him a couple of months later and ended up throwing his stuff down the stairs, or I don't know, it broke out into an argument, and then he went and got a restraining order against her, saying that she's dangerous and stuff. And maybe he only did that because of what I'm saying now, which I hope isn't the truth. But I don't know. All I know is it happened. And then she ran off again, and then she's been sectioned 3 times because of not thinking properly. Although I think it's more just that she doesn't know how to live. She's in a sort of state of confusion almost, and I am too. And so I think there's a lot of we have similarities. And I think a lot of people will think, oh, your sister did it, so that's what you did. So they would see my sister as an example of what God did. God just had a child when she was Eve, and then just ran away and did nothing. And the father's been bringing us up. George has been bringing us up. Now I'm going to be on George's side. I know George is a really big brand in Primark, but at the same time, Primark is actually kind of down there for the average person. Like, and my mum was the other day going through, we had hundreds, and I bought thousands of bikinis for like £100, and I was trying to sell them. Well, I kept 200 myself, my mum kept 200, my sister only wanted 6 for some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, it's really strange, because the George's brand, she was going through them being like, these aren't actually very nice. I mean, they're good quality and cheap. They're not good quality. They're good for the price. They're good quality for the price that you pay. And it's a big brand. And I don't want to insult the brand in any way, because it's a big brand and people like cheap clothing. But at the same time, sometimes it's better to go with, I don't know, I think it's just a sign, because it's like a lot of people want it. But anyway, a lot of people choose George. A lot of people will choose George. A lot of people will hear the story that happened to my sister, and they will think that I did the same thing, that I don't deserve, the court told me that me and my mum don't have rights or access to the child until my sister gets it. My sister's probably not going to get it, because we ourselves are unsure on whether she actually wants the child or not. Like, we think she does. We hope she does. My mum definitely hopes she does, and she keeps going on about how she does, and she'll base it on the most smallest of things. And then I'm just like, yeah, well, if she really wanted to see the child, she would be living next to George. She would, she wouldn't be, I would never do that. If I had a child, I wouldn't be going miles to a new town, starting a new life, making new boyfriends or whatever. I would stay with the child. So, me and my sister are very, very different. And there's something very weird with her, definitely. And I don't even feel like I have the right to judge her because I don't know what she's being influenced by and who she's been influenced by. Is she being influenced by me, or I think my higher self would know this, and my higher self is not letting me know this because of this conversation that I need to have with you, about explaining how the world would react when they find out that I'm Christ. A lot of people would think that I'm like my sister, like I abandoned her child, and therefore I don't deserve to have any good things happen to me, and I do deserve to just get fuck all, which I don't think is. I think it's an expression that I would use in one word, but it could mean more serious. But anyway, flag. So yes, that is how it is. But yeah, people who know me will know that I'm nothing like my sister. And even if I say that I'm not like my sister, people who don't know me won't even listen to what I'm saying. They'll be too busy just not believing anything that I say that they wouldn't believe. Although you shouldn't believe everything I say because sometimes I do get things wrong. Because sometimes I'm thinking about something different when something inside me is thinking of it in a different way. So it is very complicated, and I think it's designed to be deceptive, because everyone will interpret what I say in a slightly different way, and that's how it should be because there is good and bad in everything. And there's also another thing which I constantly think about, which is Lily and how amazing my next life would be, and how even if I do just die tomorrow, I'll be like, yay, I can go and be Lily and I can have a much better life in a much better time frame on the planet. And hopefully it will be a long time in the future because I really hope this planet lives and survives, another huge section of time. But yes, at the rate it's going, with the amount of people that are just using up the resources, this planet is not going to last very, very long unless something massive is done. And okay, it's been a horrible 9-year tribulation, and I hate the fact that it's been this long. But I think it's been this long because there's a huge amount of souls trapped in the earth, and it needs to be this long because this is how long it takes to be able to juggle the number of souls and to be able to filter and give everyone a fair chance to reach a sort of certain level of highness where they can try and understand me in any kind of way, or hear me, or spiritually connect to me, even if they don't actually physically recognize or believe. I feel like spiritually, if I'm saying something truth, they should be able to hear that truth within them and believe it. And if you can't hear the truth that I'm speaking, then if you can't hear me, I'm willing to give everyone a go to hear me, but at the same time, there's a lot of people in this world, and there's a lot of people destroying this world. So that is the situation that I'm in. And just know me and my sister are not the same. And even though we have similarities, we're nothing like. Same with Brittany. I think we have a lot of similarities, and the words in her songs are so strong to what I'm saying. But she just glamorizes everything and over sexualizes it, which isn't the best of. It isn't an accurate description of what I'm like. But anyway.